YouTube. So today I figured, since so many of you guys liked my habits video and habits make the witch, go watch that if you haven't yet. I figured I would show you guys exactly how I use Magick to help cement my habits and how to ask the universe to help make them either a little easier for me and bring it all together so I can actually build a life that I'm hoping to do. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write out my goals for 2018. And at the start of the year, I had some ideas of what I wanted to do. I was mostly focusing on finances, as I've talked about before. But this time I'm going to switch it up because I realized I've got a better handle on finances than I originally thought. So I'm going to trump instead and list out my main aspects of life that I really want to help. So first and foremost, I really want to focus on my health. This will be the number one thing. And then I would do finances. I don't want to drop it too low since that is still my number one priority, spirituality, and creativity. So first thing first is you want to list them in order of the most importance for you. And the biggest thing here is to make sure that whatever number one is, this is the biggest concern of your life. All these others are kind of added on bonuses. And so I'm not one of those people that can just focus on one habit at a time. But I do this in order and then rank them for a reason. This is the one I'm going to make the most sacrifices for, is my health in general. I don't really want to make major sacrifices necessarily for my creativity or my spirituality. And if I have to sacrifice health or finances for, say, creativity in order to work, it's not going to happen. I refuse to do it. So then once I have that figured out and what order I want them to go in, I take the first one and I list out all the things I want to tackle under that one. So for me, it's water intake, eating better. I put down activity, really I mean just exercise. Since I work a 9 to 5, I find out that I'm really low in activity and that's just not going to work for me. And then sleep patterns. So seeing all under health is my biggest priority, and these are the 4 things I wish to improve. So then I want to break down each of these and do it into a daily habit. So if I want to break down water intake, so I want to make sure I'm drinking 8 glasses of water a day, and that's the habit that I've set to do. And then if I want to do 8 glasses a day for water, if we'll just use this as our example, I then go break it down even further to go, okay, so how many glasses do I have to have a water throughout the day? I would break that up. So if I have like 1 glass right when I wake up, second will be right when I get to work, third will be 1 hour in, and so forth and so forth. And I want to break this down all the way into a day until I have reached the end of the day, which I would have 8 glasses of water. And I want to do this for each one of these under my main habit, because once I have these all broken down, I would then go into, say, a perfect daily schedule. First thing I do would be to, say, wake up at 6:30 a.m. if that's my goal. And that should fit into sleep patterns, activity, eating better. Like, I'm going to put all this into a thing. So if I wake up at 6:30 a.m., then the second thing I do is drink 8 ounces of water. Third thing I would do is do some yoga to keep that activity up. Now I'll have my cup of coffee. 5, get ready for work. 6, I would eat lunch, and so forth until I have basically under health what would be a perfect day schedule. I then would want to break that down into a not so perfect day. So not so perfect day would be, and this is the not crappy day, this is like, okay, something's messed up. So say I woke up, instead of at 6:30 a.m. like I'd like to, instead I woke up at 7. That allows me to, of course, still drink water, so that task is still undertaken. But maybe then I can't do the yoga. So that's cut out. So then I move straight to coffee. 4 is then get ready for work. And then continue on down. So basically think of anything that would make this day not so great. Then I want to break it down even further and do a day that's just utter crap. So utter crap day. Crap day means I woke up at 7:30 and I'm now late to work just on that, since I should have left at 7:30 for work. That means if I'm that late, that means I didn't have time to drink any water, and so I'm rushing to work. So that's 1. 2 would go to work. Here, I could probably still take a minute and drink some water. Say I'm then slammed at work, so that means I can't take a lunch, and then I can't walk at lunch like I want to, or drink even more water, and then I continue all the way down for the crap day. Then what I do is okay, so what would prevent everything from happening on the crap day? Like, what are some preemptive moves that I could do? So for example, if it's 7:30 a.m. I do wake up, what would make this day better? Well, I'll already have a glass of water at my bedside table. This means that, of course, no matter what, I can wake up and immediately, even if I'm late, chug that glass of water. That's not going to make me any later. I could also set up the coffee machine the night before. I could also say I didn't wake up at 7:30, but say I woke up at 7:15. Maybe I can like have a backup workout. If I can't do a full 30 minutes of yoga, maybe I'll just take a quick walk, and or I'll have a couple of weights set out that I can at least do a couple of curls. And so basically this is really where the main habits means I need to build, because as much as I would love for this perfect day to happen every damn day, it's not gonna happen. There are gonna be times where this is gonna happen a lot, but most of the time, especially when I'm first trying to build a habit, this crap day is really what's gonna end up happening. So I want to first and foremost, the day before I'm going to start my habits, and I'm going to schedule it out, be like, okay, tomorrow start fresh, tomorrow I'm going to do this. I sit down and I do all my backup habits that night. So I get a glass of water to put beside my bed. I lay out my workout clothes the night before to make sure it's like one less deterrent for me actually like doing yoga in the morning. I have that day scheduled out with my backup habits in place for that night. That's the actual schedule I want to adhere to as much as possible, because if I always have the backup habits, that means that even the worst day that I'm going to have later down the line, because at some point I'm gonna like wake up late or something's gonna go wrong, will still be okay. Then I start considering all of my other habits. So my other ones on this list were finances, spirituality, and creativity. And this is where I like to create a ranking system of things like, okay, so if my health is important and it's more important than say my spirituality or my creativity, that means that if I have a really crunch time on one of those crappy days and I have to give up something, I'm going to give up the creativity or the spirituality part first instead of the health, because that is the main habit that I want to build. Instead of drawing for 30 minutes like I like to, I'm going to go on a 30-minute walk, because health is more important to me at this certain time frame than creativity. It'd be great if I had a full hour to do both, but sometimes you just don't. So I like this ranking system so I don't feel guilty, because I've already kind of accepted that if I don't have time to do all of these things, I've already accounted for that. I'm not going to give myself shit for that, but I should at minimum always get my top goal done. And then also I like to create rewards for the major one within the smaller ones. So for example, if I make a major health goal, say I hit the perfect fat percentage that I want to lose, I then will reward myself with something that's in the other goals as opposed to something that's entirely superfluous. I allowed myself this much money because it still falls in my financials, so I'll have this much money as my reward system, and that much money can go towards, say, buying a bunch of crystals for my spirituality, or a new book because I really want to read it to learn up about the occult. Once I've done a full day of what I would consider the perfect day, that's when I sit down and I cement it with a spell, because I believe personally that habits are a great way for you to send out your intention to the universe to say, this is the person that I am now. Normally it's at the beginning of whatever habit I'm trying to build. It'll be like the first couple of days. I normally do a perfect days, and then I start like leaning off of it, and it's like, crap, now here comes the shit days. But the first couple of days, that's when I'll do a spell, and I'll do a spell specifically catered to the number one goal, and the number one goal only. The universe obviously has the capability of like breaking in everything, and if you're willing it, but I feel like if you're not sometimes focused, especially if you're not good at focusing on these habits of all of them at once, it's better to focus on the main ones that will really drive home your health. If that's the number one goal, whatever your number one goal is, that's what you're doing a spell on. So those are the things where I'll find a bunch of crystals then that have to do with health specifically, and I will set them all around. I'll get a candle out. I like to really cement things by adding a sense of permanence to them. So what that means for me is, as a writer and an artist, there's something about when ink hits paper that's permanent. So I will write out a spell until I get it right in pencil, and then I will pen it separately on another piece of paper, and I will then have, say, like a little candle surrounded with crystals that represent health. If you don't have crystals, or you don't have any, maybe herbs, whatever suits you best, I guess. The fire from the candle, I will light the piece of paper that I've written the permanent spell, the inked spell onto after reading it aloud, put it into my cauldron, set some incense, etc. and so forth, and then really just feel into how good that day felt when it went perfect. Because that's really what I feel the palpability of magic comes in. It's from the goodness that you feel, that extra oomph of just going like, oh my god, yes, this is fantastic. Like, I loved that my life was like this today, that I got everything I wanted to done, that I was making strides toward my goals. Like, that feeling you have when you're on like high on life, that's what you want to cast the spell to show the universe, yes, I want better health. I want these things. And then you continue with the habit, and every time where I feel that like it's starting to lag a bit, or I'm having a few too many shit days, or too many like not so okay days as opposed to a good day, I will then try my damnedest to make sure I have one good day that is like perfect schedule out again, go back to the original schedule I've written, and then I will do that, and that really helps, and then I will re-cement it with the exact same spell. And I like to have a little totem that I keep around with it. So for example, with my money spell, if you saw, that's on my channel somewhere, and I wanted to do finances. So I made all these financial goals, all these financial habits. I built it down to a not so great okay day, and I had my backup habits for my financials, and then I cemented it by burning down a single candle onto $1. And I carry that dollar with me. I carry this little talisman around with me because that just makes it way better for my reminders. So when I'm forgetful or I'm about to have a bad day, if I'm saying struggling and having that bad choice, a physical totem that is on you all the time. Maybe it's a piece of jewelry, or maybe it's just a crystal you always keep with you, a crystal you used in that spell, for example. Something like that, just to constantly remind you of this is what I'm going for. And for me, it helps to just reaffirm the magic that you did at the spell time, and then also with the habit that really just boosts up the universe. Because when I did this with my money spell, I realized that, hey, I've really come far with it, and out of nowhere, the universe decided, yeah, we're going to remove these other obstacles for you too. We're going to make this real easy, real simple. It's going to be bing, bang, boom, done, no issue, and it'll be all nice and pretty and set to go. So that is how I cement down my habits with a little bit of magic, and how I break it all down. This has worked really well for my finances before. It's really worked well for my career before, and now I'm going to try to tackle things that I'm not so great with, which aka my health, my relationships, things of this nature, and hopefully it'll do good. If you guys love this video and try it out, see if it works for you, or maybe you guys have other great ways to building habits, let me know in the comments down below. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.